welcome back to my channel. This is Kathy at Attic Treasures, etc. And in my last two videos, I talked about reorganizing my craft room for 2022, and I'm using a method known in the manufacturing industry as 5S. And the 5 S's are sort, set in order, shine, standardize, and sustain. And I wanted to start with doing my stamps because, as you saw in my last video, if you watched it, I had stamps kind of scattered all over the place. So I sorted them all. I culled out the ones that I knew I was probably never going to use again, and then I set them all in order. So I want to show you the progress. So I'm going to turn the camera off for just a second and unhook it, and then I'll take you around and show you what I've done. All right, so this bank of drawers is just to my left where I'm sitting at my craft table. And in the first drawer is where I have all of my stamp pads. And I will be going through these too eventually, but I wanted to get my stamps in order first. Now these first two drawers I have completely reorganized. Okay, so over here we have all hearts. There are different sizes of hearts, different shapes of hearts, but all of the ones in this little red basket are hearts. And then over here I have some recipe related things, just a couple things relating to recipes. And then over here I have things having to do with Paris, or just some miscellaneous stuff like that. I've got an Eiffel Tower. This tray over here is my Stampin' Up! Pads. And I've also got some other nature themed ones in there, leaves and trees and mountains and stuff like that. And then just below it is another tray full of Stampin' Up! Pads that have to do with flowers. So I've got those all together. And then in the back are stamps having to do with fruits and some flowers as well. Now in the one below this, I have in this top tray, I wish I had a covered tray, but I don't. These are my Tim Holtz stamps for the professor. They were all in a set. And then below that, I have this little container. I have had this container forever. It used to be my mom's and it had sewing things in it. But all of the stamps in here have to do with birds. So they are all together. They used to be pretty much scattered everywhere. And then in the back, I have these two trays that fit together, and they are just sentiments and sayings and things like that, as you can see back there. So all that kind of stuff is together as well. And then over here, I have butterflies, things to do with butterflies. And I don't know if you can tell, but I have these facing me so that when I'm looking in here, I can easily see what's inside the baskets. Then in the back, I have a few stamps relating to Asian things for when I do an Asian themed journal. I wanted all those together. Now, part of 5S as well is standardize. So I said in my last video that for me it means labels. So I just put some labels in here, just showing kind of basically what's in there rather than writing everything out. I just put some pictures in there just to kind of give an idea of, in case I forget, like the little crown, that is the one that goes with the Paris one, and then hearts and leaves and things like that. Okay, so those are good reminders for me. And then, as you can see down on the bottom here, this whole cube is going to be switched around with another cube on the back. But I promised my husband that I would make sure that I had designed everything first. So, as you can see, I have emptied out the two cubes on the right so that there's nothing in there anymore. There were stamps in there, but now they're all put away. I'm going to take you over to the other side of my craft table in just a second. Okay, so I'm on the back of my craft table now, and I just wanted to show you how I arrange the stamps down here. So I've got a lot of stamp sets. So I have, just some flowers and fences. I don't know why I have so many fences, but I threw a bunch of, well, I'm getting rid of a bunch of them. and some keys, some kind of random stamps here. I even have a TARDIS from when I did a Doctor Who journal, and some music notes, things like that. Things I don't use all the time, but I do use them occasionally. So we've got insects here grouped together, and then more of the different kinds of words and sentiments and such things like that. And then we have more bird related things, but these are all feathers. And then this giant heart that didn't really fit in my other drawer with the other hearts. I'm not even sure I'm going to keep that. I might not. And then in the back is where I put things that I don't use very often. So obviously the things that the closest to the front are the ones that I use the most often. And the Wizard of Oz ones, I do have plans for a Wizard of Oz journal, but that's in the future. And then some other random ones that I have back here that I rarely ever use, but at least now I know they're there. Okay, and then down here in this drawer, more stamp sets, at least trying to group them together. I have a lot of floral type stamps down here. Hopefully the drawer won't fall out. Some bigger stamps that didn't fit in the other drawer. And then back here I have a bunch of background type stamps. These are some rubber stamps that are all florals. I picked up that set at Goodwill. That was kind of cool. Some music, and just this weird background stamp that's actually, it's kind of pretty, but I don't use it very often because it's really big. And there are 3 stamps in here that are good border stamps. And then more background type stamps here that I don't use very often, but at least all my background stamps are together now, which I really like. So that whole basket with the box on top of it is all stuff that I have taken out of my craft table, and it's going to go to Goodwill. So I'm going to keep adding to that and adding to that and adding to that. And then it's probably going to line the hallway, but that's okay because you know, it's going to go to a good home. Before I hook my phone back up, I wanted to show you this little space over here. Now, this is a little rolling desk. I've used it many times in different areas of the house, but lately I've been using it in here, especially when I'm making videos. So I have like my supplies on that table so that it's not all over my my filming area. But down here I have my recycle box and my waste basket. But I also have some drawers down here, and these are going to get switched around a little bit too. But anytime I want to get down and access like this drawer right here, I have to move this out of the way. And watch what happens. See? And then it's just, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. But remember I said that, you know, find the things in your craft room that irritate you. Well, that's one of those things that just kind of bugs me. That's, you know, constantly moving it around and then having to push it all back. And so my husband is in the process of making me a little platform to put on the bottom there. So those things will just move with it and move back with it as well. Okay, so now I'm going to hook my phone back up. Okay, so one last thing I wanted to mention is that in addition to the 5 S's, there's also an other S that might creep in occasionally now and then. That S can go in any order. It doesn't really matter where it goes. And that S stands for squirrel, meaning that when you start going through the things that you have, sorting out and trying to set things in order, you may run across things that you forgot you had, or that you may have found a different use for. So that's what happened to me. I got squirreled. So as I was cleaning out one of my drawers, I ran across this stack of punch-out chipboard tiles. I have letters here in lots of different square and rectangular shapes. And then I have these, and you know what? I bought these when I first started scrapbooking ages and ages ago, and I never used them. And I'm not sure really that I ever would in scrapbooking. And I was going to toss the whole stack. And then I thought, wait a minute, I might be able to use some of these things. And I'll show you what I did. So I took some book page from this book that I had gutted. It was called Time Lord, and I used the cover to make a Doctor Who journal for an artist friend of mine. And I have all these, pages that I need to do something with. So I ran a few of them through my printer with some copy dye paper on the printer glass, so that I just copied the copy dye paper onto it because I just wanted a quick project. I didn't want to spend any time copy dyeing the paper. So it's just on one side. And then I ran it through my Xyron, and I've already pulled off the film. And then what I did is I took some of the tiles there, and then I made these little embellishments. So I've got some hearts here, and then I also did some extra stamping on it before I laid the tiles on and cut them out, a little key. And then I started making some Scrabble tiles. And I thought, oh, how fun is that? So let's see, I made some that look like stamps, and then I'll show you that part in a minute. But I just had so much fun making the Scrabble tiles, I thought I would basically show you how I did it. And you can do this with any type of chipboard that you have. It doesn't have to already be cut up into tiles, but it, I mean, I have them, they're cut up, right? So what I'm going to do is, since this is already on the backing, with the glue on it, or the adhesive rather, I'm just going to cut off a strip because I don't want to do the whole thing here on camera because it would take too long and use up too much of the page. I don't know if I want to do that with the whole thing. So anyway, just take it off, and then I'm going to take my tiles. Let's see if I can hold this down. It's got adhesive on it, so it wants to curl also. So I'm just going to take some of these tiles that were on this sheet, and they want to just fall right off. And I'm going to take some of the smaller squares. Like I'll take this V, and this W, and this bracket, and an X. And I might be able to fit one more on, so I'll just take this one. So these are all kind of similar in size. Not that they have to be, but they just happen to be. And I'm going to put the tiles this way, right here on this page. That wouldn't, okay, once it sticks, it sticks. But I wanted to get it a little bit straighter, but it doesn't really matter. Okay. And I'm putting them face down because that's where the when they're cut out in the manufacturing process, it leaves like a little bit of a curve down, so it's a nicer edge than this edge on the bottom. Okay, and then all you do, well, I might as well grab one more and use it all up. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut it, and the reason I'm not going all the way to the edge because this is where I know that all the copy dyeing is. So I'm just gonna kind of cut across there, and I saved that to put my offcuts onto. And I'm just doing a rough cut around just so I can separate the tiles. Now I could have stamped other images and stuff onto the page before I laid the tiles on, but I'm just doing this kind of to be a little bit more expedient for the video, just to kind of demonstrate. And if you don't have a Xyron, just, glue would work, whatever, kind of strong glue that you have. Alright, so I have these tiles now, and I'm going to take one of my foam rubber letters. And this is another thing that I ran across as I was going through my stamps, that I forgot I had these. And I didn't get around to creating a spot for them, but I do have a space in one of those drawers over there. So I'll just probably put them in plastic bags for now until I can find another suitable little container that'll fit in one of those dividers. So now I'm just going to take some black ink. This happens to be Stays On, and I'm using the letter X. And the letter X carries a value of 8 in Scrabble. So I'm just going to do a couple. And then I take my my 8 number stamp, and if you have any kind of a number stamp, or you can just write it on there. But I have these little connectable stamps, and so I'm just going to put the number 8 there. Okay, so there's a couple of Scrabble tiles, and then I will go ahead and ink around the edges. Aren't these cute? I mean, these will make really cute embellishments in a journal. So if you don't want to use, okay, the other thing I want to do is put this in a plastic bag. It's because as I go and make more letters, I don't want to keep doing the same ones over and over. Okay, so if, for example, you want to put something else on here, you can stamp any kind of image on here, obviously, that you want. But one of the other things that I noticed, I'm just going to set those aside for future. One of the other things that I noticed when I was going through and taking the tiles out is that I ended up with this negative. And so I thought, well, I could probably do something with that. So I took another one of the book pages and laid it on and just basically used it as a stencil. And I'm just using Wild Honey Distress ink right now, and just go around and layer some of these up. You can use any color, combination of colors. One color that I like to put with the Wild Honey is peacock feathers, because it makes a super pretty green. I'll show you that. Okay, so I like the combination. And these, by the way, are empty thread spools that I just glued a foam disc on there and then labeled it. And then that way I keep my colors straight. Okay, so another thing that I ran across that I forgot I had was this little stamp that looks like a postage stamp. So I thought, well, how cute is that? So I have these little rectangles here. Why don't I just stamp over it for a little postage stamp effect. Like that. And then I can take my little letter stamps and add the country of origin. And a value for the stamp. And I'm just using 12 and a C, and I can make the C look like a cent sign, but my little stamps don't have the cent sign. So I'm going to put it on the side. And it doesn't matter if it's not like totally straight, because you know what? It's a junk journal that they're going to go in. And now to finish it off, I'm going to use something else that I forgot I had as I was running across. So that's why doing this is so much fun. You find things. that you forgot you had, and that's these adorable little bird stamps. I'm gonna take this little guy. Let's see, I think, okay, that's a clean one. And they're super cheap little stamps, and I don't remember really where I got them, but it doesn't matter because I'm just gonna use it now. And now that everything is organized in my drawers as far as where my stamps and stuff go, I think that works out just fine. So cute little bird there. And now maybe I'll do, how about an owl? Let's see what happens if I do an owl. Oh, I like that. That looks pretty cool. And maybe one more, this little flying one. Okay, so, and obviously you can use flowers or, you know, whatever. So what I did is I took one of them and cut it out with my little scalloped scissors, which I found at a thrift store, and then ran it through my little 1.5 inch Create a Sticker, and now I've got a faux stamp ready to go, and I can keep it with the rest of my faux stamps. So that's just another thing that I found I could do with the things that I had that I ran across while I was doing my sorting and setting in order. And this is part of the sustain process, which is to, for me anyway, what it means to me is to use what you have. So I have all these things. I'm trying to put them to use. I have extra book page. I have, you know, tons of these things. I mean, look at those colors. Those are just hideous. But I can cover them with book page or with magazine image or something like that and have a really pretty embellishment for my junk journals. So I think I'll hang on to those and use those as fun little projects in front of the TV, because I like to call these on-the-go projects. So for example, if we were going on vacation, I would, you know, take some of these with me and just have a blast. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got some good tips out of this video, and I am going to continue making progress in organizing my craft room. I can't tell you how excited I am about this challenge that has been put on by, hosted by Cara Brandon at Cara Brandon Creations. That's her YouTube channel. Also, look in the description below to see who else is participating. And be sure to watch all their channels because everybody's got some good tips and tricks. Kelley Dowling recently posted a video on how she handles small scraps. So I'm going to link her video. Well, actually, her channel is already going to be linked below in the description. So be sure to watch her video on what to do with small scraps. It's just amazing, and I can't wait to get started on that project. So the next thing I'm going to be sorting and setting in order are my laces. So I've got laces everywhere in here, in like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places. So, and it's not like I don't know where they are, but it's just one of those challenging things that need to be taken care of. Okay, so before I sign off, I said earlier that my husband was fixing the little, he was putting a little platform on my little slide away desk. And so I just want to show you that because he already did it, and I'm really, really, really happy with it. So just a second. Okay, so there's the platform. I'm going to show you how nice it is now. I can roll it out of the way so I can access those drawers, and everything sort of stays where it's supposed to. So that's just a little thing, but to me it's going to mean that it's just going to make my life easier. So there you go. I hope you had a good time. Please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Use the hashtag LGO2022, and I can't wait to see you in my next video. So have a wonderful day, everybody. Let the serendipity find you. Happy crafting, and have a great day. Bye-bye.